Yeah, I went to McDonald's once and I bought a breakfast, left quickly and didn't get my hash brown.
Yes, I have been in such a situation. When I was in school, I needed to work for a few weeks in kindergarten, and afterwards I got a record, like how I did, and I read through this record, and like some of the things were really unfair. Like some of the points were okay, and like some of the critics were really okay, but some of them were just unfair. So I thought I need to do something about it.
I was at school, and one of the boys in the class said that I'd been really horrible to him and told the head teacher. I hadn't actually been horrible to him at all and hadn't even done anything. And then the head teacher came along and told me off.
I was really mad because you can't have a McDonald's breakfast without an hash brown. I didn't get my hash brown, so I was mad all day and it was horrible.
I was angry, annoyed, and also sad because I couldn't understand why she wrote things like that.
I felt really sad and really annoyed because I hadn't actually done anything wrong.
Yeah, so I went back to McDonald's to ask for my hash brown, which I didn't get, and I got told to give it me, and I said no, you didn't. So I had this big argument in the shop. People was looking at me really weird until a manager came, and then the manager gave me a hash brown and said see you later. So I got my hash brown, but I didn't react in the best way because I upset people when I spoke to the desk.
I need to do something about it, but I also thought like, oh, it's embarrassing, and what consequences will it bring if I, say I'm not pleased with the record? But yeah, I talked to her and also talked to other people, and we sat together on a table and talked about it, and then she changed her minds and said like some things were unfair, and she just did it because she was in a bad mood. So it was really good to see that things changed and that it was not my fault, everything.
I didn't really react to it at all because I think I didn't want to speak to the head teacher. I didn't really want to tell my parents, so I probably was just really sad. I don't think this was the right thing to do really, because I think it would have been a really good idea to speak to the head teacher and say that I hadn't actually done this thing that I've been told off for.
As a Christian, I believe that the church is the only hope of the world, so I want to speak and preach the gospel to everyone I can, in cafes, in shops, and people might get offended, but as long as it's in my heart to share the gospel, people might listen, and that's the way to live.
I think just be brave and take a step and just do it, especially if it's not only about you but also about other people that are weaker than you, like children or people that are just weak and kind of like helpless, just to help them and do something about it.
I think we can stand up for people that are being treated badly by, if it's like people in other countries that we can't do anything for in our country, we can pray for them. We can write letters to government and say that they're being treated unfairly and see if they can do something about it.
Kind of if you feel you've been mistreated, I think the first thing to do is to check that have I acted in a godly way, have I acted, as the cliche is, what would Jesus have done in that situation? And if you haven't acted in a good way initially, I think kind of, confess it, just say, no, I didn't do right. I think we also have to stand up for yourself, but not in an aggressive manner. Tell what happened in a situation, just say how it happened. And we have to say, I was wrong, if you were wrong. We have to forgive, but we need to stand up for what's right, for how you acted. But you generally tend to find that the way a Christian should act is quite an upside down one in the world. Because somebody will stand up for things in an aggressive way, they'll hit out, but that isn't the way that we should act. We should act with grace, but don't let people walk over us. So there's a bit of a kind of it's a difficult way.